The surprising reason. Why people talk bad about you. Have you ever felt that sting in your chest when you discover that someone's been talking behind your back? The way your heart sinks and your thoughts race, trying to figure out what you did to deserve it. It's almost like an ambush. You didn't see it coming, and now you're left with the aftermath. But here's the shocking truth. When people talk bad about you, it's rarely about you at all. That's right. What if I told you that their nasty comments and petty gossip have more to do with their own issues than anything you've done? Intrigued? You should be, because the real reason behind this behavior might just flip your entire perspective upside down. Let's get real for a moment. Every single one of us has, at some point, been on the receiving end of harsh words or unfair judgments. Maybe it was in school, where cliques ruled and rumors spread like wildfire. Or perhaps it was at work, where competition and envy breed the perfect storm for backstabbing and bad-mouthing. Wherever it happened, one thing is certain: it hurt. It's one of those wounds that cuts deep, and even if you brush it off, the sting lingers. But what if the people who talk bad about you are actually revealing more about themselves than they realize? What if their words are just a reflection of their own inner turmoil? Let's dive into the psychology behind this behavior, and I promise you, by the end of this, you'll never see your haters the same way again. First things first, let's talk about the big, ugly elephant in the room: insecurity. Yes, insecurity. It's the root of most human conflict, and it's especially potent when it comes to why people feel the need to tear others down. You see, when someone talks badly about you, what they're really doing is projecting their own insecurities onto you. Think about it. They might criticize your appearance, your choices, your success, whatever it is that makes them feel inadequate by comparison. In their minds, it's easier to pick apart your life than to confront the flaws in their own. By highlighting your perceived shortcomings, they're attempting to level the playing field, to make themselves feel a little better about what they lack. But here's the kicker: it never works. No matter how much they criticize or belittle, it doesn't fill the void inside them. If anything, it deepens it. You see, insecurity is a sneaky beast. It convinces people that the way to feel better about themselves is to drag others down to their level. But the truth is, this strategy is doomed to fail. Insecurity is like a hole in the soul. It doesn't matter how much you try to fill it with external validation or by putting others down, it never gets smaller. And the people who indulge in this behavior, they end up more miserable than before, because deep down they know that their attempts to tear you down are nothing more than a temporary band-aid on a much bigger problem. But that's just the beginning. Insecurity might be a driving force behind why people talk bad about you, but it's far from the only one. There's also a powerful social element at play, a need to fit in, to belong, to be accepted by others. It's called groupthink, and it's one of the most insidious aspects of human behavior. People love to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, and sometimes that something is a shared disdain for someone else. It's sad but true. People will often talk bad about you simply because it bonds them with others. They'll jump on the bandwagon of negativity just to feel like they're part of the group, even if deep down they don't really agree with what's being said. Think about the last time you heard someone gossiping. Chances are the person doing the talking wasn't alone. There was probably a group involved, nodding along, adding their 2 cents, maybe even laughing at your expense. It's classic pack mentality. When people feel insecure or disconnected, they'll latch on to whatever they think will make them feel included, even if it means throwing someone else under the bus. It's not about you, it's about them. And the most tragic part, the so-called bonds they form over gossip and negativity are weak at best. As soon as someone else becomes the target, they'll turn on each other, because at its core, this kind of connection is built on a foundation of sand. Let's not forget the role that fear plays in all of this. Fear is a powerful motivator, and it's often at the heart of why people talk badly about others. But fear of what exactly? Fear of being overshadowed, fear of being outdone, fear of being exposed for who they really are. When people feel threatened by you, whether it's because of your success, your confidence, your relationships, or even just your potential, they'll do whatever they can to neutralize that threat. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through words. They'll spread lies, exaggerate your flaws, and twist the truth to make you look bad, all in an effort to keep themselves safe. It's like a preemptive strike. They attack you before you have a chance to outshine them. But here's where it gets interesting. The people who operate out of fear are usually the ones with the most to hide. They're the ones who are terrified that if people really knew them, they'd be rejected. So, they create this elaborate facade, this image of superiority, and they defend it at all costs. And that's why they feel so threatened by you, because you, just by being yourself, are a reminder of what they're not. You are authentic, and that scares them. So, they attack. But here's the thing about fear. It's rooted in illusion. The threats they perceive are often imaginary, blown out of proportion by their own insecurities and paranoia. And eventually, the truth comes out. People see through the lies, the manipulation, the smear campaigns, and when that happens, those who talked bad about you are left exposed, their fears laid bare for all to see. Now let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind this behavior, because there's another factor at play that's often overlooked: envy. Envy, the green-eyed monster. It's an emotion that's as old as time, and it's one of the most destructive forces in the human psyche. When people are envious of you, they might not even realize it at first, but envy has a way of festering, of growing into something ugly and toxic. It's not enough for them to want what you have. They want to see you without it. They want to see you brought down to their level, to see you struggle and suffer the way they do. It's a twisted sense of justice, a way of evening the score in their minds. Envy is a powerful driver of bad behavior because it's rooted in a sense of scarcity. The envious person believes that there's not enough to go around, whether it's success, love, happiness, or attention, and so they resent those who have what they want. And instead of working to improve their own situation, they focus on tearing down those who have what they lack. It's easier, after all, to criticize someone else than to confront your own shortcomings. And so, they lash out, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your success, your happiness, your very existence is a painful reminder of what they don't have. But let's pause for a moment and consider something important. What do all these motivations, insecurity, fear, envy, have in common? They're all based on lack. A lack of self-esteem, a lack of security, a lack of fulfillment. People talk badly about others because they feel empty inside, and they're trying to fill that emptiness by bringing others down. But here's the truth. That kind of behavior is like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It doesn't satisfy the need, it only makes it worse. The more they indulge in negativity, the more it consumes them, and eventually they become prisoners of their own bitterness. So, why does it hurt so much when people talk bad about us? Why do their words cut so deep, even when we know they're not true? It all comes down to social comparison. As humans, we're wired to compare ourselves to others. It's how we measure our own worth, our success, our place in the world. And when someone speaks ill of us, it disrupts that process. It makes us question ourselves, doubt ourselves, wonder if maybe, just maybe, they're right. It's a vicious cycle, and it can be incredibly hard to break free from. But here's the thing, you can break free. The key is to recognize that their words are not a reflection of your worth, but of their own issues. Think about it this way. When someone talks bad about you, they're handing you a mirror, but it's not your reflection that you see. It's theirs. Every insult, every criticism, every nasty comment is a glimpse into their own soul, their own struggles, their own pain. And once you realize that, their words lose their power. You can see them for what they really are, cries for help, masked as attacks. It doesn't make their behavior right, but it does make it easier to understand. And with understanding comes freedom. The freedom to live your life on your terms, without being weighed down by the opinions of others. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes people talk bad about you, not because of any flaw in you, but because they're trying to sabotage your success. They see you rising, shining, making waves, and it scares them. They're afraid that if you succeed, there won't be enough room for them. It's a scarcity mindset, pure and simple. They believe that for them to win, you have to lose. And so, they do everything in their power to bring you down to their level. They spread rumors, plant seeds of doubt, and try to turn others against you. It's a classic case of tall poppy syndrome, cutting down the tallest flowers so they don't overshadow the rest. But here's the thing, their attempts to bring you down are doomed to fail. Why? Because success isn't a zero-sum game. There's more than enough to go around, and your success doesn't take away from theirs. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you succeed, you pave the way for others to do the same. You show them what's possible, what can be achieved with hard work, determination, and a little bit of courage. And the people who understand that, they'll celebrate your success, not try to tear it down. The ones who don't, well, they'll be left behind, stuck in their cycle of negativity and self-sabotage. So the next time someone talks bad about you, take a step back and ask yourself, what's really going on here? What is it about me that triggers them? Is it my success, my confidence, my authenticity? Whatever it is, recognize that their words are not about you, they're about them. They're a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, and envy. And once you see that, you can rise above it. You can choose to live your life with integrity, kindness, and confidence, knowing that their words have no power over you, because at the end of the day, the only opinion that truly matters is your own.